Hi there, it's Bonnie with So Inspired by Bonnie with another Tuesday's tip. And today's tip is stress and strain-free scissors to get us through the holiday without a lot of hand pain. A lot of us do a lot of cutting and sewing during the holidays, and then our hands get sore. So I thought this was a very appropriate subject to discuss now that we're into the holidays and we're into a lot of cutting. So I'm going to go refresh my page. If you are here, I'm seeing some of you. If you are here, please like my page, share the video with friends if you think it might be helpful for them, and also follow my page. If you follow the page, then you'll definitely get notifications when we go live for some more Tuesdays tips on sewing and embroidery. So let me go ahead and refresh the page. Make sure that we're all here. And make sure that you can hear me okay. I see Pam and Dina and Deanne and Anna are here so far. Now how we work this is I'll go through my little spiel, my little tip, and then we'll answer questions at the end because I can't talk and read and type at the same time. Okay, I see some of you coming in. Again, our topic today is going to be stress and strain-free scissors. Now, I got to share a little story. A lot of my tips come from my past experiences or fixing my past pain to help you avoid it avoid it altogether. What happened to me many years ago, I'll share a pain moment. I was making a rag quilt. I know a lot of you have made rag quilts. They're a lot of fun. They're quick. They're easy. And I was making one and got a little bit behind, as we sometimes do. I'm notorious. But I got a little behind and I did all the cutting in one sitting. I did it in one night, one day, and it about killed me because I had just regular scissors or shears and I was just going along cutting and my hand was getting sore. By the end of it, my hand was numb. It was sore for days, probably a couple of weeks. And so I thought there's got to be a better way for this. And I mentioned it to my dealer and she said, I have the fix for you. At least it might help. And so she showed me these they're specifically for rag quilts. So if you do a lot of rag quilts, I highly recommend these. This is not just a subject on rag quilts, so stay tuned. But I had to tell you how this whole thing evolved for me. These are Heritage Cutlery, and they are 6.5. That's what they're called, 6.5 inch rag quilting snips. V as in Victor, P as in Paul, and 7. I'll put this up here so that you can see that. And I thought, okay, is this a gimmick? Is this just another notion to buy? Is she just, trying to sell me something? Which I didn't think so because she was not that type of a dealer. She really didn't try to force you into anything. But I took them home and I thought, okay, well, we'll see how these little puppies work. And I had another rag quilt to do, and lo and behold, they worked great. They really helped, and I thought, wow, why? It just doesn't seem that different from every other little scissor I've had. The only thing I could notice was, they stayed open on me, and they had this funky little spring in here, and I had to, close them because I didn't want to leave them open and sit on them or poke myself with them. So I thought, what makes them work? And so when I studied them a little bit further, what happens with these kinds of scissors is they are always open in the relaxed state as opposed to always shut like we're used to seeing scissors or shears. And so you still have to close them and use your grip to close them, but when you relax your hand, they automatically open. With a regular scissor, you're using your hand to shut it and you're using your hand to pull it apart. So you're using those muscles in your hand twice as much. So these really worked. And I thought, wow, that's kind of slick. I wonder if other scissors are made that way, or shears for that matter. And lo and behold, there were. I just wasn't tuned into looking for them. And they kind of came out, I believe they started out as arthritic scissors. You know, people that have trouble with their hands and they hurt, which I'm starting to get a little bit of that, and I know some of you probably do too. But they all have something in common. When they're in their relaxed state, like these Fiskars, they are always open. So that all you have to do is cut like you ordinarily would by shutting them, but when you relax your hand, you're not using any muscle whatsoever to pull that scissor apart. It automatically opens. So therefore, it's taken away half of the work. Your regular scissors, now here's some Gingers. These are my regular shears. Now the difference between a shear and a scissor is the shear is, I believe, 7 inches in length, whereas a scissor is under that total length. Plus a scissor has a shear has a thumb hole and a bigger area for your hand area. Scissors are shorter and they generally have the same size little hole there. So these would be called technically scissors, and these would be called a shear. Now on these are regular. These are not the arthritic kind. And I have to pull them open. I have to use the muscles in my hand to pull them open as well as close. So my hand's going to get more of a workout with these, even though these are really nice scissors. Ginger, just as a matter of fact, makes the same exact scissor for the arthritic hand, they call it. But it has this funny little gold hinge on there. When I release the hinge, the scissor stays in the open position when it's relaxed. So all I have to do is cut by pushing down, and then when I relax my hand, it automatically opens. You're going to get a lot less strain and stress on your hand using this type of a shear. So I highly recommend these scissors. They're not a gimmick. They really do work, and I love them. So I really recommend them if you are going to do a lot of cutting, you have arthritis, anything like that. It really does help. Now, I really like for thread a short, very short, and a super sharp point to cut embroidery threads. It needs to have a little bit of a curve to it for me to be happy. And again, the pointier the better for me, because I can get into those tiny little areas. And it's going to have the big handles. Now this one again is going to wear out my hand a little bit more because I have to open it using my muscles and I have to shut it using my muscles in my hand. These are very tiny and short on the blade. They have a super pointy, sharp edge. These are by Havel, and they're little snippets. I think they're called snippies. They have a little curve, very sharp, but in their relaxed state, they're open. And all I have to do is grab them. I have short fingers, so these are awesome because all I have to do is just grab them. I don't have to fumble around and get my fingers inside of any hole. I can just grab them and squeeze. They automatically open on their own. So again, this kind of little snippet is going to be a lot easier on my hand and not as tiring. So if you're, again, doing a lot of embroidery, you might consider something like this that's a little bit easier to just pick up and grab and snip with and not have as much stress on your hands. Another option, and I have it taped down here because it was having trouble staying on its charger, so it might not be charged, is to get an electric scissor. Now this one has no power cord, so it's really nice. I can walk around my room freely without having to worry about being hung up with a cord or stepping over a cord. But it's just, it's really a nice little scissor, and I love that it's cordless. So that's another option, and those are very easy on the hand. You're just pushing a button and going along. So all these options make it a lot easier to get through the holiday sewing without killing your hand. So I'd like to challenge you to let me know, or let all of us know in the comments section, what are your favorite scissors to use, and are they the stress-free kind or the arthritic type, or are they just a standard scissor? Because there's a lot of good scissors out there. Most, if not all, of the major brands of scissors and shears are going to carry some, either they're going to be called either spring-loaded scissors or arthritic. They're basically the same thing because they are open in the relaxed position. They're open. So please, in the comments, let us know, because I'd like to know what your favorite scissors are too, because I'm always on the lookout for really good notions, just like every other sewist I know out there. My bonus tip today for all of you. I know some dealers are stopping sharpening scissors, and we always need to get our scissors sharpened from time to time. I also know that some of you live too far from a dealer to get your scissors sharpened, to just run in for that kind of a deal. So what I found out is ask your hairdresser when their scissor sharpener man is going to come to the salon. They have to have their scissors super sharp to cut and style our hair. So ask your hairdresser, find out from a salon when their scissor man is going to show up. Take your scissors in, and 9 times out of 10 they're very reasonable. They don't mind getting, you know, some extra money on a job if you come in, and bring your scissors in to have them sharpened. They do a wonderful job, and that's just another option to get your scissors sharpened. So thought I would throw that out there. So now, without further ado, let's go ahead and see if we have any questions on the scissors. And I'm going to go over here and refresh the page and see what we have. I'll bring my computer over here a little bit so you're not looking at the side of my head. Joyce said thanks. Thanks a lot. You are most welcome. Denise says, I work in a dental office, and my go-to with trims and embroidery, I have surgical bent small scissor. Denise, that sounds really interesting. Message me and send me a picture. Take a picture with your phone and message me, and I can share it in the comments. I'd really like to see that, because maybe we'll have to start asking our dentists or our hygienists for their little surgical bent shears, small scissors, not shears. Deanne says that I have the gingers you showed. I am going to look into the rag quilt scissors. If you do rag quilts, I love them, because the rag quilts need a shortcut. They don't, you know, if you cut too long, you're going to have a problem. They need a little shortcut, and that's what these are specifically made for. So you can just go right along and not worry, because the blade is very, very short, and I love them. They work great for rag quilts. Let's see. Teresa says she has Elan shears. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. Love those for cutting longer cuts. Then I use either Easy Snips or Horn Shorty Sharp. Do you have any of, are they the arthritic kind of scissor, Teresa, or are they just the regular shear where it takes extra work? I shouldn't say extra work, but you have to use your muscle to open as well as close. Just curious, but I bet if they're not, I bet they make that arthritic kind of scissor in your brand, in your favorite brand. So let me go ahead and refresh this again, make sure I'm not missing anybody. Sometimes when this rolls live like this, I don't get to see all the comments because they roll over. But I will answer questions after we're off. Brenda said my hair looks good this morning. Thank you. Some days are better than others, aren't they, for all of us? Anna says, since I have retired and I'm working more in my room looking for scissors, and it just rolled away from me. It just rolled away and I can't see the finish of that. Oh, here we go. Looking for scissors. I think was that makes life a little easier. Darn computers. Karen said, howdy from Illinois. Love your hints. Hi. Well, I think there really aren't too many questions on these. They're kind of, no pun intended, cut and dry. But they work really well. And I just wanted you guys to know about them in case you hadn't heard about arthritic or spring-loaded scissors. You might ask about them, check them out. Again, they're going to have that same, in their relaxed state, no matter which brand they are, in the relaxed state, they're going to be open. That's how you'll know that they are either the spring load or the arthritic. People call them either way. But that's how you know what they are. So give them a try, see how you like them, and post back in the comments. And if you have a particular scissor that you just really think is top dog, take a picture of it, send me a message, and I'll post it into the comments, or post the name and manufacturer in the comments too. You don't have to take a picture, but it's always nice to see pictures. Let's go ahead and go on. We have a tip from one of our viewer buddies, and this one comes from Lee Vertres. I'm not positive how to say her last name. And she says, I enjoy your live Tuesdays tips. Thank you. And I have a tip. Machine embroidery stitch outs will have a thread that breaks once in a while. I struggled to get the thread out without pulling it out by removing the whole spool of thread that broke. I solved this by cutting a strip of felt about 1/2 inch by 3 inches long, and I slide this felt through the thread path. The felt causes the thread to attach to the felt, and I remove them together. Then I can remove the thread safely without pulling it backwards through the tension discs and rethread my machine. So what she did, she cut a little strip of felt, and I did this morning real quick right before we went live, and I just eyeballed something about 1/2 inch wide. I made my strip a little bit longer than 3 inches because I thought it was might be a little easier to hang on to. And then she just threaded this through her thread path just like you ordinarily would your thread, just in the upper area there where the thread might get hung up. And if you have any, the thread will attach itself to this little piece of felt, and then you can just pull out that broken thread with the felt and toss out the old thread. So I thought that was a rather clever idea from Lee, and as many of you know, since Lee shared that tip with all of us, and I used the tip on one of our Tuesdays tip live segments, I'm going to send her 5 6 by 10 inch sheets of the glitter flex that we sell on our website. So thank you, Lee, for sending in that tip, and I know that will come in handy for a lot of us when we're doing all our embroidery this holiday season. So I'm excited. I hope everyone has some neat plans for Halloween. Today is my husband's birthday, so we always do something fun for his birthday on Halloween. I wanted to thank everybody for showing up for Tuesday's tip. I know you all are really busy, and especially with the holidays, and I really appreciate you spending a little time with me here in my sewing room and talking back and forth. I really enjoy it. So until next Tuesday, bye-bye for now.